Lewis the logical lion.
Arr, it be I, Captain Contradictions. Avast, ye lion, prepare to see your faith crumble as I expose contradictions in the New Testament.
Just like you did with the Old Testament?
Exactly, but no! Arr, when this be over, I'll have ye screaming, atheists do have answers.
Oh, I agree. Atheists do have answers. But their answers are wrong.
It be your Bible that's wrong. In Matthew, Jesus identifies John the Baptist as his forerunner, Elijah.
Yeah, that was a fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecy in Malachi 4:5.
Aye, but in John's Gospel, they ask John the Baptist if he's Elijah, and he says, I am not. So John contradicted Jesus.
No, he didn't. You're just pulling those verses out of context, which doesn't surprise me. In Luke's Gospel, Gabriel said that John the Baptist would have the spirit and power of Elijah. This wasn't the first time Elijah's spirit came to rest on someone else. The same thing happened to Elisha in the Old Testament. John the Baptist wasn't literally Elijah, so he truthfully denied that he was. However, he came in the spirit of Elijah, just as Malachi prophesied. This is what Jesus meant in Matthew 11:14, when he said John the Baptist was Elijah who is to come. Simply put, John wasn't a reincarnation of Elijah, but he had the spiritual power of Elijah.
But that's not what Malachi said. He said Elijah would come, not just someone like Elijah.
Actually, that's not the only time the Bible uses this type of language to make a prediction. In Ezekiel 34:23, God says, I will establish one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them. My servant David, he shall feed them and be their shepherd. But this didn't mean God would literally send David back from the grave. It's a messianic prophecy referring to Jesus, who, like David, would shepherd and protect Israel.
Arr, all right, I'll give ye that one. But how about this? Jesus told his disciples not to pray in public, but to do it privately in their rooms. Yet 1 Timothy 2:8 says, I desire therefore that the men pray everywhere, not just in private.
Oh, come on, you're not even trying.
That be a real contradiction.
It is not. In Matthew, Jesus was condemning the religious teachers, not for praying in public, but for being hypocrites. They only prayed in the streets to be seen by men. However, there's nothing wrong with praying publicly if it's done sincerely and not as a means of spiritually showing off.
Arr, well, what about the different accounts of Jesus' resurrection? Luke says there were 2 angels at the tomb, but Matthew says there was only one.
He doesn't say there was only one. He says there was an angel. So there were 2 angels, like Luke said, but Matthew chose to only mention one.
But that's a contradiction.
Think of it like this. You came to Answersville to see me, but there are lots of other people around. Now, if you were to go home and say, I saw a citizen of Answersville, would you be lying just because you didn't mention all the other citizens?
Well, no, I suppose not.
Exactly. There are other alleged number discrepancies between the gospel accounts, but none of them are real contradictions.
Arr, I'll show ye a contradiction yet.
Are you sure about that?
Of course I be sure. Matthew 27:5 says that Judas died by hanging himself, but Acts 1:18 says Judas fell headlong and his guts spilled out. Now how could the same person die in 2 totally different ways?
He didn't. He hanged himself, like Matthew said. Then his dead body began decomposing, and then it fell and broke open. Kind of like your so-called contradictions.
Arr! Christians do have answers.